This is WTF is going on in Indian television. This is basically about the child actors being put in weird scenes.
One of the consistent features on the channel and a topic of discussion for decades has been the large age gap between romantic leads in India.
Yes, that. Like, the first time it really bothered me was Shivanji the Boss? What was it called? Shivanji the Boss. Shivaji? Shivaji, yeah, Shivaji the Boss. That one was the first time where you had an actor who was the same age as his parents. The same age as his parents, hitting on a 20-something-year-old. And it was just so disturbing. I'm like, I get it. It's going to move on, but it just like, it seems to keep happening.
This is something that has evolved into a heated debate due to the awareness that is spread over the years. I hate the defense stating that if something has happened for years, why is everyone getting their panties in a bunch now? Just because something that has happened for years and was never questioned does not mean it wasn't warranted to be called out. The nature of the industry and our society has been that we are obsessed with...
Like, that's the thing. Every single film that Leonardo DiCaprio is in, guess what? He's with a woman over the age of 25. In Leonardo DiCaprio's personal life, if his girlfriend gets to the age of 26, he breaks up with her, finds himself an 18-year-old. Why? Because everyone knows that that is disgusting, so it'll never be put in cinema. However, everyone's okay. It's his personal life, so it's okay. But when it comes to like the doing it for film, most civilized people are like disturbed by seeing something like that. Like a simple gap, like maybe depending on the age too, like 10 years, maybe at the max, or maybe it's two divorcees, one in their 60s, one in their mid 40s. Not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal. But it's like when you have like this 50-year-old actor and this 20-year-old actress, it starts to get a little uncomfortable.
With male star figures. Whenever you hear about elements like bumper openings, pre-release events, hype associated with big banner movies and actors commanding behemoth salaries, it is mostly associated with male actors and the patriarchal...
To be honest, most times these female leads have no purpose in the stories except being eye candy so they can, hire and younger ones. Yeah. Basically, it's there to just bait in younger audiences, which is why they'll have the certain scenes, and then it's all of a sudden out of nowhere, and it's just like, okay, whatever. I know what you're doing. Like, I don't mind it when they have like the dance sequences or whatever. It's just like, okay, they're just throwing this in here to basically have the eye-catching scene for the younger kids to see scantily clad girls dancing around. It's like, okay, that's fine. But when you have them in a relationship, it kind of sends like the wrong message to the younger generation, being like,
setup that we often want to disassociate with, at least in commercial cinema, mostly restricts the women to roles where they are objects of desire or play inconsequential romantic interests. The dichotomy of cinema is that the audience would not want their favorite stars to age on screen. They would be extremely happy if the stars don wigs and producers invest in heavy...
Yeah, the thing is like even in Hollywood, this is absolutely true. So normally from the like, where if they're a child actress to their mid to late 30s, or if they're lucky enough to get to that point, they will always be perfectly fine with flaunting their bodies. Like, look at the Scarlett Johansson had no problem with doing that. The Sydney Sweeney's going through that arc right now, but eventually they get to a point where they start turning against it, basically saying, oh, that's womanizing. That's disgusting. Why would women do that? And then they stop getting less roles because people stop seeing them as eye-catching. Sad but true. That is how it works. But the thing is, you have to hire the best people for the job, and the thing is, people's mindsets need to change because they can still get those jobs, but at the same time, they wouldn't get the jobs in these more scantily clad films. Most likely, Scarlett Johansson is just going to be in the films where she's playing like a mother character. No longer the young hot one. She's playing the mother character, because she's already out of that generation.
VFX to portray the false reality that they are still young.
Yeah, when they're old and saggy, that's when they complain. Exactly, because they can no longer bait in that audience.
Come with the caveat of preferably having younger female leads fawning over the stars despite being at least physically way past their prime. I find it very fascinating though that Rajnikant is confident
Yeah, it always bothers me. It always bothers me.
and secure enough to appear in public with his bald head. He would feature on camera, however, with a full head of hair and makeup, and the audience can segregate the two. This is in sharp contrast to how most Indian celebrities don their on and off screen personas. You will mostly see stars concealing even the very idea that they may have a receding hairline, making sure to cover their heads just so that the kayfabe on camera remains strong and consistent. The reason for making the video is not to go on a tape recorder and speak about the same elements we have done for so many videos and offer nothing new. The reason for making the video is to speak about a disturbing element that has been normalized across mediums, and that is romance between an adult and a minor on screen.
Yeah, that is disturbing. That is absolutely disturbing. This kind of thing right here is just like, no. And the funny thing is, it always goes one way. I don't think I ever can recall a film where it goes the other way, where you have, let's say, an adult teacher taking advantage of their underage male student. That happens in real life, sure, but I can't recall a film that utilized, I guess, Bad Teacher, but then doesn't she have a relationship with Justin Timberlake, who's the PE coach? Yeah, so in the end, I mean, that doesn't have it.
Due to the large age gap between men and women on screen, the producers, at least for women in leading roles, preferred the actors to be extremely young. Think of just after school, and it feels like many producers were adamant that this is the right age to launch a female actor. You look at the likes of Deepika Padukone and Anushka Sharma. Both actors were 21 and 19 years old respectively in their debut movies. You think about Kareena Kapoor and Priyanka Chopra. Both were 19 to 20 years old when shooting for their debuts, oftentimes with considerably older actors. We have spoken about multiple pairs that have looked extremely awkward on screen in recent years due to the considerable age gap between the leads. This includes Akshay Kumar romancing Manushi Chillar and Samrat Prithviraj, Salman Khan being paired with Disha Patni, and
I'm just gonna be honest. I can't stand Salman Khan. I just can't stand him. I saw Sultan. Yeah, Sultan. I couldn't stand him in that film. I just couldn't. It was just so weird. It was so weird. So after that, I was just like, I'll try a few other films. There was only one I believed him in because I didn't like him in that movie. He played a character that was absolutely obnoxious. And I was like, I like this movie because he was absolutely obnoxious.
Sai Manjrekar in Radhe and Dabangg 3 respectively, Akshay Kumar being paired with Radhika Madan in Sarfira, and this of course is not restricted to just Hindi cinema.
The issue is like these male actors have a lot of pull in cinemas, and it's hard to get young actors to start taking the limelight when so many people grew up watching their favorite. I'll use the term that India uses, hero. I hate that term. Their favorite actors, and then they want to continue seeing that favorite actor, even though they were probably a kid when they started watching them. 20 years later, they're an adult, and they want to continue seeing that person playing those roles that they remember, instead of having a new generation take the stage. So you end up with these weird, disgusting dynamics.
See the pair of Vikram and Dashra Vijayan in Veera Dhira Suran, Rajnikant being paired with Sonakshi Sinha in Linga, Kamal Hassan with Trisha in Thug Life, Alia being the star of it all, being paired with Shruti Hassan, Urvashi Rotela, and even Katrina Kaif. I mean, the list can go on and on, but the scary snippets that I do see dispersed in film is when producers cast an actress who is clearly...
Yes, male actors bring money, but the thing is, I hate that. That's one of the issues. Why do they keep giving these main action lead hero roles to these actors who should be like mentoring the following generation? Like, that's one thing I love, like in the past, where actors enjoyed the idea of taking the role of like a mentorship. Like, they wanted to be the mentor in the movie, the one who's guiding the hero through the course. I mean, that's how we got shoot, I forgot his name. He was on Bridge on the River Kwai in like a World War II film. Shoot, I forgot his name, but he was in Star Wars. He played Obi-Wan Kenobi. He was so excited to play like the mentor role, even though he knew where his character was going, because that's what you need. You need these older actors to basically have a guiding role, to be cool, but to be a guiding role.
Not even 18 yet, and still make her engage in romantic sequences in the film. The most infamous case is of Kriti Shetty, who was close to 17 years old when shooting for Upenna and Shyam Singha Roy, and found herself in the movie engaging in romantic scenes. This is extremely creepy and dicey from a Law and Order POV, but what I forget is that the evolution of young actresses on set, especially having aspirations to become stars, also comes with the pressure of parents who often assist or guide them on set. This has been carrying on for decades when young female actors used to be mostly associated
Because they don't want to step down from their pedestal. Yes, exactly. They want to continue being the main focus. I don't know why it's gotten into them. Well, because their egos have been constantly pumped up, and that's why I'm always like, don't follow the actor, respect the work. You have to disassociate the art from the artist. You have to, because you're going to end up stuck in a quagmire of disgust if you do that. So you can enjoy the characters they portray, but you can't just idolize that person and believe everything they do is good. I mean, there are so many things where I'd watch a trailer and I'm just honest about how I feel about a person, or like how I feel about the person's acting or something, and I'll just get brigaded with hate comments because I just don't worship the actors the same way some people do. And I find that kind of thing crazy.
with their mothers and their managers who would introduce them to producers, often leading to female actors as young as 15 being paired with significantly older stars, something that was scarily normalized in movies, maybe all the way up to the 90s. Think about the most popular actresses that you know of. Think of someone as influential as Devi, an actor who starred as a child star, transitioned to become a leading lady, and in 1979, the actor acted opposite N.T. Ramarao in a movie when Devi was approximately 16 years old. She was romancing a 56-year-old on screen. This was also not portrayed in just a sweet, non-platonic manner, but sultry and passionate sequences as well. Think of an established Malayalam star like Urvashi, who again started off as a child artist and transitioned to do leading lady roles at the early age of almost 14 and 15 years old. Again, having to do romantic scenes with adults that can be best described as inappropriate. Dimple Kapadia featured in Bobby when she was 16. Neetu Singh similarly started doing romantic leading roles and doing provocative dances at the age of 16. Rekha, another child artist, started doing female leading lady roles at 16, and all of this was never questioned all the way up to the 90s, where Rani Mukherjee at 17 or 18 years old was featuring in it.
Well, I think a lot of it was the fact that the world wasn't as small as it is now. Now you literally know the ages at the tip of your fingertips, at like just looking it up immediately, so you can notice the disgust. Most times, years pass from the last time you saw the child actress to now they're doing a more mature leading role, leading female, and it's just like, okay. But when you actually know their dates of births, it becomes more disgusting.
Debut movie like Raja Ki Aayegi Barat, where she is absolutely abused, ridiculed, and shamed for her choices by the male lead. What's, however, an extremely concerning trend that I want to alarm you about, that no one is talking about, is this concerning age gap and minors engaging in romantic scenes on camera, which has somehow become a consistent feature with Indian television today. If you remember watching...
This is funny because, like, my wife, if she was on mic, she would honestly contest or like agree with. I have constantly complained to her about this, like how I've always had problems with this kind of thing. Every time there is some form of subliminal messaging, and again, I went to film school. I love film. I love learning how to construct a narrative and things like that. But this stuff is put in places, and she always got tired, right? You always got tired of me constantly talking about it. Because, again, it is kind of demoralizing and very demeaning to a culture when you're judging their cinema. When you're judging their cinema. Sure, there are a lot of films that I absolutely love, but then I'll come across some which are huge age gaps, or you end up having like the you're encouraging something that should never be encouraged. It should be constantly disgraced. And it's just like, well, why is it here? Why is it here? Why is it in the film? Oh, it's because they're trying to push a narrative.
The episodes during the pandemic, you would remember that I speak about some of the most disturbing and problematic TV shows that are doing hundreds of episodes in Indian boxes across the country. One of the most problematic shows was titled Pehredar Piya Ki, which presented a girl who promised an alien...
Yay! I was talking about it. So this is the one show that did it the other way around. Of course, it's India that did it. Nowhere else did it. It was India that did it.
Father that she will protect her son, who is the heir to the throne of a royal family. This dynamic in turn would spark a friendship and hints of romance too. Mind you, this was between a 9-year-old kid and an adult woman. The show had raised such alarm bells that there were petitions to ban it. I can't tell you how creepy it was for the makers of the show to try and convince us that the dynamic...
Yeah, and sometimes it feels like it's deliberate writing and made. Yeah, it is. It is. That's the thing. If you study film and like I also study like documentaries and like propaganda pieces. Like I even watched like the documentary on the Nazi army that Hitler had put out, and you can notice the subtleties eventually through time, learning a lot of this stuff, and you see it over time. If you see the name of the writers and casting, you can you can normally know who does stuff. But yeah, it's all there done. It's all subliminal messaging, and it's honestly gonna destroy the next generation. Everything basically, because it's the kids that are meant to see this and are to suffer. But it's funny how the roles get reversed, and then all of a sudden everyone started having issues. What's funny is in the U.S., even South Park had a joke about it, where one of the kids was basically being hit on by his teacher, and the kid's brother went to go complain to the cops, and the cops are just like, "Wait, it's a female teacher? Nice." Because it's so weird, the double standard here. And I guess in India it's reversed. If it's a old man, younger woman, it's like nice. But if it's a older woman, young man, nasty.
Shared between the lead characters was actually platonic, while consistently placing them in slow motion shots with romantic music playing in the background. The uproar against the show was so intense that the show was cancelled in the first season with a mere 31 episode run. In a similar light, I am shocked that no one is talking about an Indian TV show that absolutely toes the same problematic line, and that is a show titled Rim Jim that plays on the Dangal TV channel. This is a show that presents an actor by the name of Yashika Sharma playing the role of Rim Jim. She is a loving daughter who dearly loves her brother. She progressively realizes that she is not her father's child and was actually conceived by her mother in her first marriage. The stepfather, who has a royal lineage, accepted her with open arms as her own child, making her conclude that the heir to the throne actually is her younger brother. This creates a huge point of contention in the royal family, as they never accept Rim Jim as her own. What's scary is that Rim Jim realizes that the royal family wants to essentially take advantage of her brother by making him understand the ropes of how to become a king, but independent from her influence. Samir, played by Himanshu Awasthi, leads the charge in the same regard. While Himanshu is about to get married to his love interest, who is an adult by the way, Rim Jim ensures to sabotage the marriage by making him falsely sign a marriage certificate with her name and become his wife, all with the intention that she wants to ensure she takes care of her brother and has his custody. What's problematic is that Rim Jim and even the actress playing the character is of course a minor, and what the show consistently does is present the two leading characters arguing and fighting with each other, in the process getting into such a tussle that they fall on each other possibly in every single episode.
I've seen that in what's it called, fan service in anime. In anime, they have that fan service where, oh my gosh, I'm falling on you. I'm sorry. Let me get up. Let me get up. Let me get up. And that's the thing. It's just like when they saw it the other way around, they had an issue. But when they change it back to it being a younger underage girl, everyone's perfectly okay. It's absolutely disgusting. It's always bothered me when I see it. It's always bothered me when I see it, but it's just like
to a romantic song playing in the background, and for Rim Jim to get the false hope that there might be a possibility of a romance in this dynamic. What's even creepier is not just a romantic partnership, but moments of passion that are shown where a young actor like Yashika is presented with her blouse being undone and Himanshu slowly and steadily, obviously topless.
She's 16? Yeah. It's the whole thing's messed up. The whole thing's absolutely disgusting. I should clarify, these shows are primarily audience to older women. Yeah, we'll see.
Covering her back, or even after a tussle, finding himself on top of the actor to share glances at one another while being in such close proximity with each other. When a 16-year-old kid is being showcased in such romantic sequences.
But the thing is, if you think about it, if it's towards older women, the kids are most likely in the house as the mother's watching it, and then they get to witness, oh, this is normal. This is normal.
I can't help but feel how awkward and creepy this truly is. But how does it not raise alarm bells for anyone? Keep aside the ripples from the audience, but the makers themselves.
I've been talking about it since I first started watching Indian cinema. There's only two things really out of Indian cinema that has really bothered me. And this is one of them.
And what's most concerning is that fans of the show actually create ship edits of the leading actors, not realizing what they are promoting in the process. What happened to an elder sister's quest to protect her brother from the oppressive ways of a royal family has transitioned into becoming a romantic rendezvous with her husband, who she falsely trapped while being all of 16 or 17 years old. Talking about the same normalization of minors on screen engaging in romantic relationships, there is a show titled Seher Hone Ko.
No one I know watches these shows. all are watching series like Geo, Hotstar, and Z and Sony. Yeah. Yeah. Well, some people actually have good taste. That's the thing. It's just, but every time you come across something like this, it just is, for me, it's always been jarring. It's always been jarring, and I've always been able to like spot it like on the spot. Like like again, my wife gets annoyed when I start quoting things from a movie, and she's all, "How do you even remember that?" It's just film has always come easy to me. But it's just, yeah, a Game of Thrones level crap. Absolutely. Absolutely. Incredibly disgusting. Should not belong. Game of Thrones did it for the sheer shock factor and because everybody knew it was disgusting. But here it's done as a part of the story because it's love, which is weird.
है that airs on Colors. The fictional role of Seher is played by Rishita Kothari, who is herself 24 years old, but she plays a 16-year-old girl in the TV series. The premise of the show is to showcase how the mother of Seher, played by Mahi Vij, wants her daughter to become a doctor. She urges her to give her 10th board examinations well and make a name for herself individually and professionally rather than just getting married, something that her oppressive and abusive father wants. The tussle continues in the daughter wanting to run away in some way or the other and consistently getting caught by the father. She is constantly pursued by Mahid, played by Parth, with little to no concern of her age. What's the most disturbing element from a writing point of view is that from the romantic interest, Seher's age is never a point of contention for him. Her consent is, not realizing that he is talking to a literal child. Seher tries to run away with the aid of a doctor so that she doesn't get married to this man, but her father traps and ties her mother, pushing her to her limit until she says yes to the marriage. What's concerning is that the makers still present the leading pair with a romantic lens. Every glance or moment shared between them is associated with a romantic song in the background, creating the perception that Seher may want to become a doctor, but she is still torn because she feels drawn towards this man. All this while being 16 years old, by the way. Whenever Seher is asked about his marriage to Mahid, her marzi is brought up, not her age. Not realizing that her consent means nothing when she's not even a consenting adult yet. When the man rescues her after having left him at the altar to leave the city to become a doctor, he tells her, "शरीफ इंसान को आप जैसी औरतें धोखा देती हैं," ending it by saying, "आप बोलने का हक हो चुकी हैं." Again, not realizing that he's talking to a literal child. I might sound harsh by saying this, but the makers give a righteous spin to a man who is essentially a pedophile and make the actress feel guilty about even chasing her professional dreams at the age of 16 years old. I knew that television was regressive in its Saas Bahu Nok Jok, but I don't know when it transitioned to fully pivot into normalizing romantic relationships with minors, something that I believe needs to be called out, and the makers really are doing irreparable damage.
Yeah, this stuff really does need to be called out, but the problem is so many people have like a fan base with certain things that they'll always defend something no matter what until years down the road where they realize maybe I shouldn't have defended that, but at that point in time the damage is said and done. The thing that was terribly made comes out and then everyone praises it at the time, and then years later they realize it isn't that good, yet it made so much money that that crap continues to get made. I mean, look at Hollywood. The woke crap started coming out, and people, the first instance of like the trash in Hollywood was basically Avatar. It was nothing but beautiful, but I get the same feeling from watching that movie as I do the Discovery Channel. But at least the Discovery Channel, I learned something. And it was just had so much nonsense that Hollywood realized they could just have absolute nonsense in cinema and people would absolutely slop it up. The problem was there was an end goal, and then wokeness hit and it really just sped the course down where people realized, oh, we're not even watching story because they weren't even getting the beautiful scenes like they were in Avatar. And then everything crashed and burned. It needs to be the downfall of cinema as a whole needs to be expedited. So people focus on film. People focus on the story. People focus on like what actually matters instead of getting all this slop out.
The psychology of the viewers who may assume that this is extremely normal and to be possibly carried out in real life too. And that was a video, guys. Write down in the comments below, what do you think about this pivot regarding romantic relationships on TV? Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle's right in front of you. Follow me at Jamie.
Yeah. I always seem to end it or pause it right before it ends. I always seem to do that. But yeah, that's something that's absolutely disgusting. I view that as absolutely abhorrent, especially when it comes to like such a massive age gap. Like again, there's nothing wrong with a bit of an age difference, but as long as they're both consenting adults and it isn't way too drastic, like I firmly believe there should be no Jenny Submit type of relationships. Your potential spouse should never be older than your parents by at least shouldn't even be close to your parents' age by at least a few years. That's personally how I feel. That you shouldn't be in a relationship with someone that is close to your parents' age, for both men and women. And you shouldn't be in a relationship with someone who's close to like a niece or nephew age. If you're, it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Women choose sugar daddies. Well, if you're a sugar daddy, then you're basically paying for a prostitute at that point. That's literally what it's a transactional agreement. You give them nice stuff and they spend time with you. It's an escort. It's an escort at that point. Like a sugar daddy is just like sugar mommies. It's an escort service. It's an escort service. You're paying for their time. You might not be paying in money, which normally they do, but in gifts, in trips, and things like that. Yeah. I did enjoy that, though, but what the heck is going on with Indian television? Just need to get more of those good shows out.
You guys got a video? What's so bad?
And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Wait on that.